All right, Miss Dolores, can you state your whole name?
Oh, my name is Dolores McGee Newton.
Okay, Miss Dolores. Can you tell me when did you first start going to Scotlandville?
Well, I started at Scotlandville um, Junior High over on Elm Grove Garden Drive, but I ended up graduating from. I think my class of '61, was the first class to graduate from the new school over on 19th Street.
Okay.
No, is that 19th? Yeah, Highway 19th.
Mhm. And when you went, did y'all? What colors was the school?
When I went, we were the Scotlandville Hornets, and we were black and gold.
Black and gold.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was when Chairman Patty was principal and Mr. Nick Harrison was the assistant. But that was, like I say, I graduated in 1961. That was about 52 years ago. We'll be in May, be 52 years, so that's a long time.
really long. And when you went to Scotlandville, how was the teaching process? And like, was the teachers interactive with the students?
Yeah, and we had close relationship with the teachers, but the only thing about it was, they discipline the children more than they do now, because now you can't do a lot of punishing that they did back in the day. They could spank and punish you. And of course, the children were a little more respectful to the teachers, and it wasn't bad, because we didn't have a lot of drugs. We didn't have problems with drugs. We didn't have problems with a whole lot of fighting. And of course, Mr. Patty was a very strict principal, and even the big boys, the ones who's almost as big as he was, they gave him a lot of respect, and he didn't have a lot of problems out of them. When he spoke, they listened.
Mm-hmm.
So he had everything under control. A little different than they do now. No shooting like people bringing guns. We didn't have all that. Mm-mm.
Okay, and what do you remember most about your senior year?
Senior year. Well, like I say, we were the first class to graduate from the new school, so we were thrilled about that. But of course, I liked the old school too. But of course, the new school was bigger, better, newer. So, and we had we had a lot of things. We had clubs, and we had some of these clubs over at the old school, but we ventured out a little more, and we did a little more at the school, because we had the little stadium and the track, and it was a new school, larger school, so we had a little more, into the programs, and we just enjoyed it. And of course, that same school is over there now. And we enjoyed our school days, so I don't have any negative things to say about Scotlandville. It was good. I enjoyed my high school years.
When you look at Scotlandville now, are you proud to say that you graduated from Scotlandville?
Yes. I'm proud. But at one point they changed Scotlandville to a magnet school. Now my son was the first class to graduate from the magnet school. And then now it has gone back to a neighborhood school. It's not the magnet school. It's back like the old school. But yeah, I can say I'm proud to be a graduate from Scotlandville.
When you think about your senior year and your high school years, was there anything you wish you would have did differently?
Well, during the years I went to Scotlandville, yeah, I was an honor student just about every year. But looking back, I could have done some things a little better. I could have, and my grades were good, but they still could have been better if I had settled down, just studied a little harder.
Do you have like any advice for the upcoming seniors?
One thing is to do all that you can do, so you won't have any regrets. Do your best, and I know a lot of times students want to be more active into sports and what have you, but I think they need to make sure you put as much emphasis as you can on your studies, the academic studies, because in the end, that's what's going to count. You want to excel in the academic as well as the sports. And it's good for you to enjoy being in clubs and sports and stuff, but you got to remember your first, I would think your first objective would be to excel and do the best you can in the academic part of school. And you can't lose if you concentrate more on your studies.
Let me see. Okay, when you graduated from Scotlandville, were you scared to get out there into the real world, outside of high school?
No, not really, because when I graduated from Scotlandville, I went to Southern University, and that's right here in hometown. Mm-hmm. I've been going to games, and I knew a lot of people, even the ones before me. A lot of the kids went out of state, but most of them stayed home and went to school. So, no, I wasn't afraid. It was being at home, really. Maybe if I had to go to another state, to a different school, I didn't know a lot of people, it would be a little different. But here, everybody knew everybody. So.
Okay, Mr. Lawrence, this is my last question. Is there any life lessons you can give my senior class?
Life lessons?
Like things we should know or we should do? Like, can someone prepare us?
I know that most when you get in high school, everybody is excited and they, getting your little boyfriends and girlfriends, and that's good. But I think you should put more emphasis on waiting. Put more emphasis on courtship and not just jumping out into the world by getting married. You need to. I would first finish high school, finish college, kind of look around and make sure that whatever job you're venturing out to, that this is what you really want. Sometimes we, even after you graduate, you may not even get a job in whatever your major was. It could be, you find out that you're more interested in some other face, and just kind of don't, like look before you leap. And then you won't be sorry and you won't make any mistakes. Not that you won't make, because we know you're going to always make mistakes. but you won't do anything that you'll regret. Just take your time and make sure that your choices are what you really want to, venture into and do.
Thank you, Ms. Dolores, for taking out your time and sharing your experience with me and my classmates about your experience at Scholarville.